Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Time Out with Steven Scott, presented by Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, with loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Welcome to episode 103 of Sports on Tap. I am Chris Scott alongside Joe Waddell. Joe, how are you?
I'm good, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm good.
Got a big vacation coming up, man.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Leaving tomorrow morning
Yeah.
in snow. So hopefully,
Possibly.
fingers crossed,
Yeah.
the flight takes off on time, and we don't have any problems. But
I mean,
yeah,
like Death Storm 2023.
yeah.
As
So-
as somebody in the radio biz that we both enjoy listening to, as always dubs any snowstorm we ever get.
Death Storm
Yeah,
2023.
Death Storm, name year here. But
Yeah, it's and the good thing is we're only supposed to get up to 5 inches total, from what I hear. So I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully by the time our flight's supposed to take off at about 10:20.
yeah,
We won't get that much, and we'll be able to get out of here.
I think you guys will be all right. Going to the most magical place on earth.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
arguably the most expensive place on earth too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. As they say, Hakuna no dollar.
Yeah, no shit.
Means you have no money for the rest of your stay.
Yeah, you ain't kidding about that. So
Yeah, it's expensive as shit, but I'm looking forward to it. We've been able to keep it a secret from Ray.
yeah,
She still thinks we're going to Hawaii. Now, if you were an adult and you thought you were going to Hawaii and you got tricked into going,
might be
to
a little
Disney
disappointed
World,
by that.
you'd probably be upset.
A little bit.
I think we're safe to say that she's going to be excited as hell.
Oh,
so
she's gonna love it.
I can't believe we've been able to keep it a secret to this. this
I'm
point,
actually
so,
very surprised about that as well. But
Yeah.
she's absolutely gonna dig that. So
yeah. Looking forward to it.
that's gonna be a cool trip for you guys. So hope you guys have fun, safe trip, and all that.
Thank you.
Guys, and,
Appreciate it.
You know, enjoy it. That's cool.
Yeah. But until then,
Until then, we have to.
we've got some shit to get into.
We do have some shit to get into. We have to dissect this NFL divisional playoff round, which, I mean, I don't want to necessarily it wasn't exciting, but I really didn't think it was all that exciting. I really didn't.
So it seems to me like the most exciting game was the Niners-Dallas game.
Yeah, and arguably the worst play call ever at the end of it.
Oh Lord, that was dude. So was it Kellen? Was it Kellen Moore?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
He's their offensive coordinator, yeah.
he might have cost himself, and like he was highly touted, right? Everyone's
He was.
kind of looking at him as
Yeah.
one of the next up and coming head coaches.
That's the guy that Lions fans thought he was a better quarterback than Stafford. Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. Well, come to find out, he makes really bad play calls at times too, because he might have single-handedly cost himself a head coaching job with that last play call. What was that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Here's Zeke, snap the ball, stand there, and get run over while Dak throws. He didn't even throw it to the sticks again.
So Dak threw it to a guy that was in the basically he just ran a straight route on the seam.
Yeah.
And as soon as he caught it, he got hit and knocked down, and that was the end of the play, end of the game.
That's it.
Not like there was no. What was it? What do they call it? Pitchy catchy or
Pitchy catchy woo woo.
Yeah. There was none of that.
Yeah.
There was no toss it back and forth kind of thing. I thought
Nothing.
they were going to do a toss it back and forth kind of thing. There was no Hail Mary. It was line Zeke up where the center is with nobody else around him.
Get run over.
Have him snap the ball to Dak. get truck sticked,
Really, was that?
and then Dak threw it to a wide receiver on the seam, and he got immediately blasted.
Yeah.
And couldn't lateral or do anything with it. That was the worst, one of the worst play calls I've ever seen.
I'm asking, was he in touch with Minnesota's play OC like, for that play call?
Was he in touch with
damn.
New England's play
God.
calling because
That's
of the whole
so
pitch
bad.
it back and forth during a game at the end of a game where you don't need to do that, and then the defense for the Raiders grabs the football, runs it in for a touchdown, ends the game?
Unbelievable.
Like what? I can't get past what that play call was. It was one of the dumbest things I think I've ever seen in my life.
It was not good. It was not good. And then you have to add to the fact that Dak did not play well.
No, he
did not.
Nope, he did not, and he had 2 picks.
And they were bad picks.
They were. There's 2 quarterbacks that I'm going to criticize a little bit here in this divisional round.
Yeah.
And Dak is one of them. And we don't like Dak, right? I mean, we don't like the Cowboys. Dak has been, for where he was drafted, what was it, 4th round?
Yeah.
He's been pretty damn good for a 4th round draft pick, right? For what you get out of a 4th round draft pick as a quarterback, you don't expect to get what you got out of
And
Dak.
the funny thing is he gets trashed like a first rounder.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because he plays for the Cowboys.
Exactly.
If he played for any other franchise, he wouldn't get hammered like he does.
Right. Well, and listen, once you get that big payday,
Yeah.
you're going to get hammered no matter where you were
And
drafted.
deservedly so.
Once you get the big payday,
You're supposed to perform when
Right.
you get that kind of money.
Right.
So, and the Cowboys, and the weekend itself, especially Sunday, it was up and down. Like I watched the Arsenal beat Manchester United, so I was happy about that. They started off good. My Bills got absolutely truck sticked against the Bengals, and we'll get into that game shortly. But it ended kind of on a good note because again the Cowboys lost,
right.
which made it all right.
Yeah.
Made it not a total loss of a day.
And to be honest with you, that game basically was looking like it was coming down as a mirror to last year's game between those 2 teams where Dak Prescott rushed up the middle for a quarterback sneak. I don't know what it was, and then they couldn't get the ball snapped in time. I mean, it was just this game ended in equally, and it was equally stupid.
That's probably the best way to describe it. It's stupid.
I really can't think of another way to put it. It was equally stupid.
It was absolutely stupid. That's probably the best way to describe what went on in that game. Now you look at the 49ers, and this is sticking with the Dallas side. Sorry.
Yeah.
Their defense gave them every chance to win that game.
Oh yeah.
Their defense played. And you're starting to see it, man. Like Parsons, he threw Dak under the bus, man.
Oh yeah.
And again, deservedly so.
Listen,
like, we held up our end of the bargain.
Yep.
Like
there's some of these teams that lost this weekend have some infighting going on, and there's some problems internally with some of these teams, and that's one of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
You saw some of Parsons' comments, and like, I don't necessarily disagree with them. They held that potent San Francisco offense in check for the most part.
Yeah.
They did.
Well, listen, what did CMC have? What was CMC's
Or
stats
Debo
for the games?
didn't have huge games.
Debo didn't have a huge game. CMC was held to 35 yards on 10 carries.
Yeah.
Kittle had a decent game.
Right.
Five targets, 5 catches, 95 yards. And you look at the offensive side of the ball for Dallas. CeeDee Lamb had 10 catches for 117 yards. And if you were to tell me that San Francisco's defense would give up that to CeeDee Lamb, I would tell you Dallas would win that game.
I disagree with that. I'll say I think their main objective was, CD's going to eat, let him eat. We'll shut down everything else.
And that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they did. Dak only had 206 yards passing.
Right.
He had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, a 63.6 passer rating.
And they were bad interceptions too. Like those ill-timed
They were
interceptions,
awful.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they were awful picks.
Like there's interceptions and then there's interceptions.
Well, and you look at the other side of the ball. Now they shut down Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Kittle had a decent game. Now you look at Purdy, 19 of 29, 214 yards.
Nothing spectacular.
Nothing spectacular, but no TDs.
Nope.
But guess what he also didn't do?
No turnovers.
He didn't throw a pick.
Yep.
He had no turnovers, and that's key in a game like that.
Now, to this, like Pollard going out, was that an issue? Yeah, obviously it doesn't help because some people will say he's a more explosive version of CMC. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that.
Some people being morons,
Right.
yes, but
I can somewhat see where they're going with
He's-
that. But
he's
he's more explosive. He's definitely more explosive than Zeke is.
Absolutely. At this point in time, absolutely. And he's more of that versatile running back
Right.
like CMC is. He's more of the
I think that's what people are trying to get at. Is he's more of a versatile guy like a CMC?
Yeah, but-
he's not better than CMC.
yeah, but the moron that said he was a better version
Yeah.
of CMC,
Yes.
he's a moron.
Yes.
And I think you could look if you know sports, go ahead and look up who said that because you'll just agree with us. He's a fucking moron.
but yeah, obviously that didn't help Pollard going out.
Skill.
Skill.
Skill. Skill.
I don't even start on that fucking idiot. Seriously. And then, of course, what does he do after the game? He does the fake burning of a jersey. Like, stop.
Who? Skill?
Oh yeah, stop.
Skill?
Like, come on, dude. Like, let me get this straight. You have a camera set up in your
Yeah,
in your kitchen.
yeah.
And then you're
burned his jersey.
And you burn. All right, dude. Enough.
Was he a Dallas fan?
Oh, he's a huge Cowboys fan.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Huge Cowboys fan.
I know Fabiano is. I didn't realize he was.
Oh, he's a huge Cowboys
Wow.
fan. But yeah, it's like enough with it. And the funny thing is like everybody trashes him on social media, and again,
Skill.
very deservedly so. But that's what he wants.
Yeah.
If you just stop replying, like whatever he posts, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Don't give him the platform.
He's a moron.
That's what he wants. The more clicks and the more vitriol he gets, that's exactly what he wants.
Yeah.
So, like I saw the video and I'm just like, it could be easy just to go on there and comment like, "Oh, you're a fucking idiot," but for what? People have already done that for me. I don't need to say it.
That actually gives him what he wants because
Exactly.
he's getting clicks, he's
Yep.
getting comments,
Yep.
and all that stuff drives content.
Exactly. So yeah, that guy just whatever.
But-
and the fact that people take that dude seriously
Right.
is
I
it's not
most
good.
of those guys in the business right now, they're shock jocks.
This is
They're,
it.
they're shock commentators. They don't believe most of the things they say.
Exactly. We've been saying this for years.
They just say it.
yeah, we've been saying this shit for
Like
years.
they try to be controversial.
They're just really they don't. I don't think they buy a word of what they say.
No.
Like you look at like Skip and Coward
Skill.
and like Max Kellerman and guys like that. This Jay Wright idiot. Or
And
whatever.
see,
Nick
Jay-
Wright. Nick Wright. Is that
Nick
it?
Wright.
Nick Wright. That
And
idiot.
see,
It's like, dude.
was it Kellerman? I don't think he's as bad. Now he says some stupid shit, but I don't think he's as shocky as some of these other guys, like
Right.
Nick Wright. What's Stephen A. Skip Bayless? Like they just say shit just to say shit.
Yeah,
literally.
they say shit because they know people will react, and it's just like, all right, man. And once you finally realize that, the world will be a better place. Get rid of these morons.
It'd be a start.
It definitely would be a start.
So I got a good stat here for you.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts' parents had sex,
Really?
gave birth to Jalen Hurts.
All right.
He grew up,
Yep.
learned how to play football, went to Alabama,
Yes.
transferred to OU,
Yep.
got drafted, sat behind Carson Wentz, went to the NFC champ game before, and then went to the NFC Championship game before Dallas went back to a championship game, all in that time span. So all of that happened in the time span since Dallas has gone to the national championship game.
Y'all still them boys?
I just that just strikes me as fucking hilarious.
What I loved about that is one of my buddies, his dad, rest in peace. His dad was one of the best dudes I've ever met, and he was a diehard Cowboys fan. And like me and my buddy, we'd always get into it with him about the Cowboys. He's like, "Oh, yeah, we're winning this year, fellas. We're winning this year." So, like anytime they lose in the playoffs, we'd always give them shit. So now we continue the tradition. Once the Cowboys inevitably bomb out of the playoffs, well, especially with memes now, we just any meme we find, we
boys?
just send it to each other.
Still them boys?
Oh yeah, we just any meme we find, we'd send it to each other. So we try to keep that tradition alive. But
It's awesome.
it was all in good fun. It was never like serious or anything like that. It
Right.
was all in good fun. So I do miss that about Johnny Smooth, but again that kind of helped the weekend a little bit because this is the game we're going to get into now, the Buffalo Cincinnati game. Holy shit!
The Buffalo choke artist?
God, what a disaster that was. When you have a guy, your all-pro linebacker, after the game saying, we didn't have the energy. We didn't have any real energy. We didn't have the juice. Wait, what? Excuse me, what? Wait, timeout. how on earth did you not have the energy or the juice for that game? You're at home. You got DeMar Hamlin there. You knew he was going to be there. Contrary to reports, they knew he was going to be there. And you come out, and not only did you get your asses kicked, but you didn't even look competitive in doing so.
Nope.
You look slow. You look lethargic. You look like you guys didn't want to tackle anybody. You look like you guys didn't want to cover anybody. You guys definitely didn't want to fucking block anybody.
Leslie Frazier should not have a job.
I agree with you 1,000,000%. He should not. He should be done. There's one play that keeps sticking in my mind. It was 14-7, and it was like 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4.
3rd and 4.
And they had everybody in the box to stop the run.
Right.
And they literally, Joe Burrow just dropped back,
Yeah.
passed it wide fucking open.
You
the
have-
exact same plays in my head.
Your corners are playing 8 yards off. Why are your corners playing 8 yards off?
8 yards is being generous. I think they were like 10 yards
It
off.
was. I'm like.
And they had everybody up on the front of the line to stop the run. It looked like they thought they were going to run the ball. But yet, if that's what you think, why are your corners, why are your DBs 8 to 10 yards off the foot? I didn't
understand that.
Like, I don't understand what the fuck that was.
I didn't understand that one bit.
But we're thinking of the exact same fucking play.
Oh yeah, I just watching it, and I'm like, I looked at Lady Friend and go, what the fuck are they doing? Like this is an easy pitch and catch. Like just get a guy on the flat. It's a first down.
It was simple.
Like not to mention, even if they had ran the ball, they probably would have got it.
Well, yeah, because Buffalo can't stop the run.
God, dude, every time they ran the ball, it was like 4 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 6 yards, 10 yards, whatever.
And so one thing I want to bring up with this game, and I'm a huge fan of Josh Allen.
As am I.
A huge fan of Josh Allen. Been a fan of his since the day he got drafted.
Yeah.
It's about time that he needs to start taking some criticism.
I agree with you. He absolutely should. 100%.
That needs to happen because you've got guys like Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. Okay, Joe Burrow is the real deal when it comes to being calm, cool, collected, and just going out there and doing his job.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The dude gets the job done. Mahomes, right? I was a big fan of Mahomes before he even played a snap in the NFL.
You were?
Now, I've kind of soured on him a little bit because I just have soured on the Chiefs in general.
Yes.
And his stupid wife and his stupid brother. But
Right.
the dude goes out there and just gets the job done.
He does.
Even on a high ankle sprain, where most guys wouldn't have even finished the game. He went back out there in the second half and finished that game and won.
Oh, they loaded that thing up with with cortisone. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Even then, though, I mean, you saw Tony Pollard go out.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard went out with almost the exact same injury.
Yep.
He never returned. But you got
I
a different running back and
it's
quarterback,
different,
yes.
yeah, it is different.
But still,
yeah.
the fact he came back in and played and won that game, it's still commendable.
It is.
You got a guy that's playing on one leg almost.
Yeah.
Those two guys are head and shoulders above Josh Allen at this point.
I don't disagree with that. I think now you're starting to trend in the waters with Josh Allen as he's Phillip Rivers.
Dan Marino.
I'll go more Phillip Rivers. I'll say more athletic, more mobile Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Like,
Well, listen,
he's good.
Josh Allen has a gun.
He does.
Right? He's got a
Yeah.
cannon. Right? Dan Marino, cannon for an arm.
Yep.
Accurate. Could, all the stats you want to see.
Yeah.
Never won anything.
didn't.
Never came close after his first year.
True.
So Josh Allen is at the point now where next year is a big year for him. He needs to put up or shut up next year.
Next year's a big year for the Bills, period.
Yeah.
Because their general manager has to look at that roster and say, where do we need to get better? You need to upgrade your offensive line, first of all. 100% you need to upgrade your offensive line.
And your defensive line.
And your defense. Basically, your trenches, you have to upgrade significantly. And another weapon for Josh Allen wouldn't hurt either. Maybe a running back or another receiver, like a legit number 2.
Well, shit, they might be without Stephon Diggs. They might need 2 weapons.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with that. I really didn't. I get it. You're pissed off. And frankly, you should be pissed off. Because frankly, that That's another thing that bothered me is the way Ken Dorsey called that game as an OC. It's like, well, what are we trying to do here? Like, are you trying to run the ball? Or are you trying to throw short pass? Like, what are you trying to do?
See, and that's the thing I don't understand with Buffalo. At this point in time, shouldn't they have an identity?
They should,
But they don't.
I know, and their identity should be, you know what? You have a quarterback that is mobile and can throw it a mile. Let him loose, man. Let him do his thing. If he's going to be like the Brett Favre type, like the gunslinger, then let him be Brett Favre the gunslinger. Let him do it.
Well, and the problem you get with that is the turnovers, the
I get it.
the untimely interceptions in the red zone. It's like
I just don't want to see this conservative bullshit in the playoffs.
no, and again, you need to have an identity, and this team doesn't have one.
They don't, and I think they want to be a running team, but they can't because they can't
be.
block.
You can't block. You don't have the running backs to be a running team. Sorry. Now James Cook might be the guy.
Right.
He showed flashes of being pretty damn good, but you have to have an offensive line to block for him.
Right.
You can't not open any holes for a guy and expect him to get any yards.
No, it's there's definitely some things to look at in Buffalo in this offseason, and it's hard to say after you win so many games, whatever. I get it, but this is the third year in a row that you've failed in the playoffs because you've been conservative. You've gone the conservative route. I don't understand it.
And Josh Allen needs to play better. And again, big fan of him, but
He does.
25 of 42 for 265 yards, no TDs, one pick, and a rating of 68.
It's not good.
That's not good, man. That will not get the job done in the playoffs.
And I saw people say, "Well, the weather hampered it." Well, it didn't seem to bother the Bengals.
Joe Burrow seemed to play fine.
They seem to do just fine in it. So don't give me the weather nonsense argument because it doesn't make any sense.
No. And then you got,
especially with a quarterback like that who can run.
Yeah. Well, listen, you got after the game or even during the game, you got Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. You got Stephon Diggs literally darting out of the locker room before the coaches even make it back to the locker room. He had grabbed his stuff and was headed down the tunnel. And Duke Johnson stopped Diggs before he left and brought him back into the locker room. But then again, Diggs left just a few minutes after that as well. And I get Diggs is a wide receiver. He's a diva. He's upset. I get it. But that's a problem, guys. That's infighting, and that's not – if you don't get that settled and situated. Now, 2 years ago, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs were brothers, right? I mean, they were brothers from another mother. They were tight. But now this doesn't look good, and maybe this is just brothers having an argument. And this is what happens when you are competitive and you lose a game you feel you should have won. But then again, you can't let it get out of control. And this, to me, looking at this, visually, it's not good.
No, visually it didn't look good. But from everything I've read about this, his anger wasn't directed at Josh. It was directed at Ken Dorsey.
Which, in that case, good.
It was directed because he's basically saying, he goes, fuck what he calls. Call your shit on the field. You're seeing this like up live, close and personal. You're seeing what they're trying to do. Audible. I don't care. Do it. Audible. And he gets mad. He gets mad. So be it. But you audibling gives us a better chance to actually move the ball down the field.
Right.
So I think that's more of what his anger was directed at.
So he was yelling at Josh Allen about a situation.
Yeah, he's basically saying, fuck that guy. Do your thing.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure we'll hear probably more about it as the offseason kind of comes up here. But again, I don't necessarily think he was mad at Josh per se.
Right.
And even if he was, I honestly don't have an issue with that. I don't, because you see it all the time in professional sports. Teammates get mad at each other all the time.
They do. I have a problem with what happened after the game.
But him darting out? Yeah, that I do have an issue with. It's like, dude, just everybody else is there. Stand there, be a man.
Listen,
you can't just
don't just like you're a team.
Yeah,
that to me is you.
That's being selfish.
Yeah, that to me is you saying you're more important than the team.
Yeah.
You're different than the team. You're not with the team. I don't have a problem. Listen, you get an argument on the sideline. You get in arguments with friends.
Like shit, how many times has Brady yelled at a receiver?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
well, and listen, you look at it. I've gotten into arguments at work, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
honestly, about a week ago, one of the guys that's higher up than me and me, we got into an argument at work.
Happens.
And it was not pretty, but afterwards we talked about it. We both apologized. It was just tempers flared and we were both upset about something and took it out on each other, and you move on. So especially like in a work situation, like those guys are with each other, same as like I am at work. I'm with those people at work more than I am my own family.
Exactly.
And so
This shit happens.
they're the same way, and so those kind of things can happen. It's what happened after the game where he darted out and was just left that really strikes me as, wow, man, like you can't do that.
Yeah, that I'm with you 100% on the fact that he darted out and kind of, again, that's selfish. Then honestly, it's kind of chicken shit,
Yeah.
It's like, dude, everybody else has to stay there and everybody else has to answer the questions. And now they got to answer questions about why you darted out of the building. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair to them.
No, not at all.
So yeah, that I do have an issue with him and Allen, or him yelling at Allen or whatever. And again, I don't think it was at him per se, but
Right.
that I didn't have an issue with. So this is going to be an interesting offseason for Buffalo, and I'm very curious to see what they do because McDermott's not getting fired.
No, but Leslie Frazier should be.
Leslie Frazier should absolutely be fired. You give up the year before, you give up that with 13 seconds left, and then you come out in this game and your defense lays that kind of performance, and this is the defensive scheme you come up with, and you don't make any adjustments to it.
That
Yeah.
was piss poor.
Yeah, you should absolutely be fired for that.
And then you got dumbass Tony Romo on the TV talking about how he should be a head coach somewhere. Get the fuck out of here. First of all, you've jumped the shark, Tony Romo. I'm tired of him. I can't wait till that dude gets fired. I can't wait till that dude gets fired.
I think I said this like 2 years ago. I was done with him.
I'm
done with it.
We all kind of were, but it just
I'm
keeps
like, I'm
getting
done with it.
worse.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done with you.
You'd think he would
Like now you're a caricature of yourself.
literally.
That's what you are. That's exactly what he
And
is now.
he moans and groans and just makes noises now. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's definitely a caricature of himself now, and it's and when he first started, it was like kind of a breath of fresh air. It was like, all right, dude, this is cool. Like he knows what play is coming. He knows exactly how it's going to be run. He knows how it can be stopped, and he would tell you that, and it was great. And then he just turned into
A douche.
Yeah, he's almost turned into like a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, and you know Nance in the booth is just like, God, I fucking hate
And
this
Nance
guy.
has to be rolling his fucking eyes
He does.
half the game.
He's like, I'm so glad like CBS is giving me an assload of money to be with this idiot in the booth because, oh my God, he has to be like, this guy's an idiot. Like I can't handle him anymore.
You know who's not an idiot?
Yeah, Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546. There you go. Yeah. So, moving on from that to the Jacksonville KC game, which actually wasn't a bad game.
See, no, I didn't see that one.
It wasn't a bad game. You saw what I'd say from that game is you saw a team that wasn't quite ready for primetime yet in Jacksonville.
Right.
They had plenty of opportunities to push KC to the brink and maybe possibly win that game, but there was certain plays in that game when it was just like
It just didn't happen.
They're just not there yet, And credit to them, they played a good game and they did push KC. They absolutely pushed KC, and obviously Mahomes' injury kind of helped that a little bit. But you kind of knew once Chad Henne led like basically a football field long drive for a touchdown.
Right.
You kind of knew the writing was kind of on the wall for Jacksonville. I was like, okay.
Yeah, if they can't even get the job done when Pat Mahomes is out of the game,
Yeah.
they're not going to be able to get the job done when he comes back in the game.
Yeah. So,
But I look at what they did with that team, and again, I still like the direction they're headed. I think they put up a serviceable effort against KC. Now, I didn't see the game live. I went back and watched the replay of it or the breakdown of it. And from what I saw, Jacksonville, like you said, they just weren't quite ready for primetime.
yeah.
and a lot of like they lost by 7 points, but it easily could have been a much better game had they not shot themselves in the foot a couple times.
They had opportunities. They
Yeah.
did. But that's what happens.
They're a young team.
Yep.
They're an inexperienced team. This little 2-game run in the playoffs here helps them and their growth tremendously.
Oh, it absolutely does. And, obviously, you've been on their bandwagon pretty much the entire season. I've been on, off, whatever, etc. But I do believe they're building something for the future. So, like I said, I believe they are for real building something for the future. And clearly they are, because you made the playoffs this year.
Yep.
I don't see them missing the playoffs next year because I think they're just going to get better. I think Lawrence is going to get better.
I agree.
So I think they're gonna make a run next year. Maybe next year they make it to the AFC title game. Who knows? I mean, it's the AFC is gonna be a monster again next year. It just is.
It is. It is. The AFC has a lot of good teams right now.
Yeah.
Or not a lot. They have a handful of good teams right now, and they have a few more that are on their way up.
They do. Like the Jets are going to be better, especially if they get Aaron Rodgers.
Jets are going to be better. Listen, no matter who they get at quarterback, they've got a good young nucleus of very good players.
They got a good defense too. They got a really good defense.
They do, and I like their direction they're headed. I think Saleh is a good head coach.
Yeah.
I think they've got the right guys in place there. Again, Jacksonville is going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Miami's going to be good again.
Miami will be good again. From all accounts, Tua is going to be okay.
But that's going to be the key with them. Like if he takes another concussion, he's done.
Well, and that's why I think Miami has to do the smart thing and go get an accomplished backup,
Okay.
a backup who, or even draft a guy that you think can be a starter in the NFL as a backup, and not in the higher rounds. I mean, draft him in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, something like that.
Right.
But you need to go get a guy that you can trust behind Tua because of what's happened this last year. Like his head injuries at this point are concerning,
So
and that's mildly.
say Rodgers stays in Green Bay, right? Which I don't think he's going to, but
I don't either.
say he does, and the backup he says, "I'm done with this. I want out."
Jordan
Right?
Love?
Jordan Love, and he says, "I want out." If you're the Dolphins, do you maybe take a flyer on him?
Depends
Just
on
because we don't know what Tua's health. We just don't.
and Jordan Love was a first-round talent.
Right.
If Green Bay didn't draft him there, he would have been either a first or second-round talent. So, I mean, listen, the guy had talent coming out. I would say, depending on what Green Bay would want for him, yes.
Right.
Because the talent doesn't go away. So, yeah, there's a possibility there.
I mean, but does it though? After this long?
I mean, it didn't with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
So, I mean, at a certain point, if you had the talent, you had the talent. Now, it doesn't always pan out in the NFL, as
It
we've
doesn't.
seen.
But do you think he has the talent that Rodgers had?
I really did like him coming out.
Okay.
I did. And I thought Green Bay was smart to draft him because I saw the end of Aaron Rodgers, and I thought, all right, well, they're doing what they did with Brett Favre, right?
Right.
They're getting their next guy.
Or do you look at San Francisco and say, "Hey, is Trey Lance available?"
See, now that one, I'd rather do that one.
Okay.
I'd rather do that one.
Because from all accounts, I hear if Purdy keeps this up, he's going into the next year as a starter.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely he is. And Trey Lance is basically, from all accounts, is on the block at this point.
Yeah.
Even a guy like Jimmy G, I wouldn't be against as the backup for Tua.
Right.
You know, listen, Jimmy can teach him some things.
Is he a free agent?
Yeah.
Do you think Jimmy G would go down there as a backup?
I think he would go down there with the thought that he can compete for the head job, but Tua has the inside track as long as his health holds up.
Right.
I think with the right contract, I think Jimmy would do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Jimmy G still wants to be a starter in the NFL, and I think by all accounts he can be. He's not a top 10 starter in the NFL, but he can be a starter in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think in the right situation, with the right mindset, I think he would take that.
Okay.
I think so. Because I think if you take that job, you're thinking there's more than a 50-50 chance you're going to be the starter at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at
Yeah.
Tua, his injury history with the fact that he's had the head injuries this last year,
Yeah.
you're looking at going into a situation that you're not just a backup in case. You're a backup that is
Probably
playing,
gonna play.
is playing behind somebody.
Yeah.
You're probably going to end up playing at some point.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I could see.
And it's a good spot. I mean, Jimmy G goes there. If Tua's the starter and Jimmy G goes there as a backup,
No.
and Tua goes down, that team is still a playoff team. That team is still a contender for the Super Bowl.
It's hard to disagree with that. I don't. I think it's a solid observation by you. And then let's get to the absolute just debacle of the weekend, the Giants Eagles game. Good Lord, man.
Talk about outclassed.
Oh my God. This when you say outclassed, that's what reminds me of the Buffalo Cincinnati game. They were outclassed, outcoached, outplayed. And I sent you that text message right after that game. That's exactly what happened in that. This one was just, you want to talk about an ass kicking. This was a thorough ass kicking.
This was talk about. Listen, we get things right, we get things wrong.
We got this one.
This was the one where I said, listen, we were talking about KC coming off the bye, and we're like, all right, they could be rusty, they could be this.
Yeah.
And when we got to Philadelphia, I said, I think Philadelphia's going to be the exact opposite of that.
And you were right on that one.
I think they're going to come out. They had a down streak towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
Hurts was injured. They were coming off some bad games. I'm like, they're going to come out. They're not going to be rusty, and they're going to look to fucking whoop the shit out of New York.
And they did.
And that's what they did.
They absolutely did. I went the other way on this. I thought, divisional matchup, the Giants, they got a decent running game, and obviously we've seen what Philly has done all year. They let teams back in, etc. But when they decided to go for it on that fourth and whatever it was on their own side of the field in the first quarter, I'm like, and they didn't get it. I'm like, this game's over. That to me right there, I'm like, this game's done.
Well, and that to me right there showed me that
Desperation.
New York.
They knew.
Yeah, they knew.
They knew.
New York knew they needed desperately to try to keep up in that game because that's a desperation move that early in the game. Desperate.
It absolutely is. To me, it's kind of like some of these like random like onside kicks, or like a fake punt or something like that early in the game.
It was
like you kind of know.
It reeked of desperation.
It did. That's one like if it works, great. Like we got some time.
If it doesn't,
You're fucked.
oh,
And we saw it did not work, and narrator would say it did not work, and they're fucked.
yeah.
But yeah, that game just looked really bad for the Giants in that one, and honestly, Philly looked really fucking good.
They look good, and this weekend is going to be a huge test for San Francisco because as much as I like San Francisco and I think they're one of the most well-balanced teams you've seen in a long time, so is Philly.
So is Philly, and you're going up against a better quarterback.
You are.
You're going up against a better quarterback with
You
better.
are.
Like not only is he a better quarterback, but he's got better weapons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, Philly, to me, this is this is two teams that are going to be going at it that almost mirror each other other than the fact that one is playing with a third-string quarterback, right?
Yeah.
I
But that
mean-
might be the X factor.
I mean, it could be. These defenses are both very good.
Yep.
Now, San Francisco's is better, but Philly's is a little bit better against the pass than San Francisco's. San Francisco's defense has an overall better defense. Where you can be had or where you can have success against Philly is in the run.
Right.
And I think that's going to be key to San Francisco. They have to get CMC and Debo and even Elijah Mitchell in that run game really going early on in this game coming up in order to be able to win this game. That's going to be a must for San Francisco.
I could see them kind of having Debo like revert back to what he
Oh, yeah.
was. Like kind of more
They're
that,
gonna
that
have to.
slash type guy,
They're going to have to.
I could absolutely see that. But obviously, once we get to the picks, we'll break that game down a little bit more. But
yeah, this was one of those games where you looked at it and New York, the Giants, listen, they're doing something. I like the fact they got Dable. He did something, right? He showed that he can take a team that wasn't necessarily supposed to win and coach them to win. Now, it just showed that they weren't quite ready for prime time.
they definitely were not ready for prime.
They were less ready for prime time than Jacksonville.
Yes, that would be correct.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to compliment Lions and Lions fans right now. I'm going to tell you that I think the Lions team would have put up a better fight than the Giants in the playoffs, and I think they would have put up a better fight than Minnesota in the playoffs as well. I think they were better than both of those teams.
I think they absolutely would have put up a better fight than Minnesota. 100% I agree with that. As for the Giants, yeah, probably.
I think the Lions were a better team towards the end of the season. The Lions were a better team than both of those teams,
right?
And both those teams made the playoffs, and one of them won a game.
It's hard to disagree with that. It's
talk
Minnesota 100%.
Hot take from Joe, who hates the Lions, but I have to be honest with it. The Lions are an area where I'm not very good at taking away my bias. Right?
Neither of us are.
But if I'm able to do that,
I think we've done a decent job of it this year. I do.
Listen, I'm not
going to say it's a great job.
I'm going to speak for myself on this one. I'm going to tell you I could have done a lot better.
That's why I said decent. That's why I didn't say great. I didn't say good. I said decent.
My bias with the Lions against the Lions is very bad.
Yes.
But there's, if I can take that out sometimes, which I am right now.
But it's always prefaced.
Yes.
It's always prefaced. We're not like hiding it or anything like that.
No.
It's always prefaced.
Listen, I'm very upfront about that, and so are you.
Yes. Like, I hate this franchise,
but with a fucking passion.
I hate this franchise, but they did this well. Congratulations.
But congratulations.
But yeah, that game I think it's going to be a damn good game, and I'm actually really looking forward. And the two teams that we had in the NFC Championship game at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Actually, I think we called that shit at the draft, didn't we?
I believe we did, actually.
So at least we got that going for us, which is nice.
Yeah. We would have had the AFC Championship game as well, but Buffalo fucked it up for us because we all had KC and Buffalo going at it again.
Yeah.
Only in the AFC Championship game. So
right. Another thing on that Buffalo game, them. No, this is more on the Bengals end of it. Them saying we had a chip on our shoulder because they were selling tickets to the game against Kansas City that was going to be in Atlanta. Stop it. You also were selling tickets to the AFC Championship game before the game was even played. Before the Kansas City game was even played.
Yeah.
When it would have been at your stadium. So stop it. Stop with the false narrative.
It's whatever teams can use to their benefit.
Exactly.
Every team tries to use certain things to get themselves pumped up, psyched up. It is what it is, man.
Stop with the false narrative. And then as for Eli Apple, he's not trolling fucking DeMar Hamlin.
Oh God,
dude, get fucked. I hope this dude gets torched a million times like he did in the Super Bowl last year.
Oh, he will.
I hope he does.
That's what he's done his whole career.
You had one decent game. Cool, bro. Now you want to talk shit because you had one decent game? Okay. Whatever. Fucking clown.
Yeah, he looks like shit all the time.
He does look like shit. You know who's not clown?
And you know who can help you with making your home not look like shit?
I do. Looking to brighten up your home or commercial building? Give At Your Service by Pat a call today at 248-794-0008 for your free estimate. At Your Service by Pat specializes in home and commercial building cleaning. Services include roof and house cleaning featuring soft wash, which is a longer-lasting alternative to pressure washing. They also offer window cleaning, concrete cleaning, deck and fence restoration, gutter services, and more. So call At Your Service by Pat today for your free estimate at 248-794-0008. There you go. Yeah. Now, I know there was something you wanted to get into, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a couple things I want to talk about here before we get into doing the picks and next week's championship games. Mm-hmm. So there was a run-in courtside at the Lakers game.
Yes.
And it was with Shannon Sharp.
Yep.
And he was jawing with, I believe it was Dylan Brooks
and
John Morant, right?
Yep.
And then was it T. Morant, who is John Morant's dad, got involved in it, right? And it was a big altercation. They had to stop the game.
Yep.
They escorted Shannon Sharp off the court.
Yep.
Same thing with T. Morant. It was a big deal, right?
Yes.
And since then, I believe Shannon Sharp has come out and apologized or said, it shouldn't happen, this and that. But I'm going to play you something that Shannon Sharp said a while back about fans jawing at LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it has to do with LeBron James because he's an LA fan and he goes to the LA games.
They're boys.
And of course, that's where he was at. He was at the LA game when this happened with him. But here is what Shannon Sharpe had to say to Skip Bayless, Skip, about fans and what they should do at courtside.
The fans somehow, Skip, and these, look, you know what these seats cost, Skip, sitting courtside.
Skip.
So this is, well-to-do. They know right from wrong.
Yep.
But somehow, and it's been like this for a very long time, people think because they pay money, and we see this in restaurants. Well, you think you could talk to your server any kind of way. You think because you pay an enormous amount of money, and the athlete are there to entertain you, you can say, you can do whatever. And it's well within my right because I paid $5,000 or I paid an exorbitant amount of money for this ticket. You cannot, you should not. And I agree with LeBron. Skip, boo me. It's a badge of honor if I'm in a visiting arena and I get booed. But you cannot say certain things like what they be saying and think that it's okay. And what has transpired is that America has become more comfortable with saying things to people and then using the term snowflake. Oh, you soft. Nah, bruh. Give me my respect. That's all I ask. You don't have to respect me. And I'm a firm believer, Skip, and I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm a firm believer.
Skip.
You don't have to respect me, but I'd be damned if I let you disrespect me.
Now, all that, and I'm going to say that Shannon Sharpe's a fucking hypocrite.
Yep.
Because you went on that tirade. This was well before you decided to go courtside and start jawing and getting into arguments with two players from an opposing team or the team that you root for, and that is going up against your boy LeBron. But also one of the players' dads.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
And the guy
what's
was
going on?
talking shit to LeBron. LeBron's a big boy. He can handle himself.
Right. What are we doing? You're a fucking hypocrite.
Yep.
That whole thing right there, all it says is you're a hypocrite. And I actually liked Shannon Sharpe up until this point.
Right.
Now I just look at him as a hypocrite. Because before I used to look at him as he was like the person going against Skip.
Yeah.
Skip. Listen, Skip. And yet now I just look at him as you're two peas in a pod. I can't stand either one of you at this point.
Right.
You're a fucking hypocrite.
No, I don't necessarily disagree with you because that was just. And he's like, oh, you don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. And then, but when Steven Adams walked over there,
Right.
Oh, what did he do then?
Oh.
What did he do then?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't want that smoke.
Yeah.
You did not want that smoke.
Yeah. Listen, for every person who doesn't want your smoke, there's another person whose smoke you don't
Yeah,
want.
exactly. As soon as that dude walked over there, he was just like, I probably should be getting going here, blah, 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 whatever. But yes, it just first of all, just don't say anything. Like, for what?
Why are you doing what you're doing? Again, everything he just said there,
Yeah.
to me, is right. Right? To a certain extent, you don't need to insert yourself into ball games just because you're sitting courtside.
No.
There's certain things that you need to not say. You should not be completely disrespectful to another human being just because they're playing your team.
Right.
Right? I agree with all that. But then he goes and does what he does and makes himself a complete fucking hypocrite.
He does. Now, I remember back in the day, like when Reggie and Spike Lee would go at it. Like, that was more.
But that wasn't
That was
fun.
more fun. That was more. That I don't have an issue with. You
Those guys were having fun with each
right.
other.
You guys want to beef back and forth like that?
Yeah,
All right, fine,
that's
man, whatever.
different.
That shit's actually entertaining. But when
Right.
you're trying to make yourself part of the game,
Yeah.
dude, like that, like stop.
Yep.
Stop. Now, this leads me into another hypocritical situation. This is grinding my gears.
Oh, yes. Hold on. Wait. Let me find it. Where is it?
Get it.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Hypocritical people on social media and these wannabe,
You mean people on social media?
basically, yes. these wannabe, activists, I guess, if you want to call it that. So last week or so, week and a half ago, whatever, the Philadelphia Flyers, they decided they want to do a Pride Night. Okay. No issue with that one bit. And one of their players decided he didn't want. Basically, they had to wear jerseys with rainbow numbers on the back during the pregame. Cool. Whatever. Fine. No issue with that. But one of the players said, I'm not doing it. And this wasn't something that was sprung on him. It's something that they knew about weeks in advance. And he's like, I'm not doing it. It's against my religious belief. He's Russian Orthodox, I believe.
Right.
And he didn't want to do it. So the night gets there. He stays in the locker room, doesn't wear it. Okay, fine. That's your choice. That is your choice. Now, I will say this. I don't agree with his choice. But again, it's his choice. No issue with you made it? Cool, man.
I don't disagree or agree with his choice, but I believe it's your choice to make.
Exactly.
You know, if that's how you feel,
Yes.
then that's how you feel.
Right. So when this story starts to kind of gain traction and starts to blow up, they're asking the Flyers coach, John Tortorella. He says, hey, what do you want me to do about it? He's free to do what he wants. He's a grown man. He can do what he wants. He has the freedom and choice to do that. And people, these people are saying, oh, ship him back to Russia or go back to your home country or fuck you or this, that, and the other thing, whatever, you're a piece of shit, etc. These are the same people that will tell you everybody should have equal rights. Everybody should have equal rights. I'll pound it. Everybody should have equal rights. Well, so somebody does something you disagree with. So you're basically saying he doesn't have the right to do that because you disagree with it?
Yeah, because
And now he should go back to his home country? Really? That's where you want to go with this? You fucking stop it. Just stop it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But don't tell him to go back to Russia or he's a piece of shit or anything like that. He's got his own beliefs, and like I said, I don't agree with his beliefs, and that's fine. But I believe in his right to believe that. That is equal rights,
right.
to me. That
Right.
is, I don't care. Every one of his other everybody else on the team wore it. Cool. You got your message out there. Great. And if he wants to be the guy that's singled out for it, that's his prerogative. He's free to make that choice. But for you to say he's a piece of shit for it is fucking hypocritical. Because all you fuckers say is everybody should have equal rights. Everybody should have equal rights, except when it's something you don't fucking disagree with. That's bullshit. And you know it's fucking bullshit.
It is. It is. And I 100% agree with what you're saying right now, and I had no idea you were even going to talk about this before the show. But when it comes down to it, I 100% agree with you. It's equal rights, right? So just because you don't agree with somebody's opinion or what they believe in,
Right.
doesn't mean they can't express that and live by that.
Right.
Until they're hindering somebody else's way of living, they're allowed to live their life the way they want.
Yep.
The only time your beliefs should be in question is when they impose on somebody else's rights and beliefs. Period.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
Everyone has a right to live their life the way they choose to live it.
Yes.
And he chose that he didn't want to wear the pride number based on his religious beliefs.
Yes.
Now, whether you agree with those religious beliefs or not, that's not up to you.
It is not.
That's up to him.
Yeah.
And he can choose. He has the right
He does.
to live his life the way he chooses.
If he wants to be singled out and handle the backlash, which he got quite a bit, but he actually got support in another direction.
Right.
Okay. That's his right to do that. That's his choice to do that. But again, to say that he's a piece of shit and he should be shipped back to Russia, stop it.
But that's the way this world works right now. If you don't believe
Right.
in what people, I believe that everyone should have the right of freedom of speech. But the minute you say something they don't like,
oh, it's nope.
oh, you can't say that. The fuck I can't. It's freedom of speech, right?
And the fact that you're naive enough to believe that an entire sports organization would share the same belief that you do is just asinine. It's asinine.
I would go out on a limb and tell you, I believe there were other players on that team who did not necessarily want to wear the jerseys,
I would,
but chose to
Yeah.
just because they didn't want the backlash that he got.
Exactly.
So, to me, it's you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yes.
You either believe in freedom of speech and believe in equal rights and equal opportunities and equal everything, or you don't. But you can't say you do and then get mad at somebody who doesn't agree with you and say, you don't have the right to say or do that.
Right.
The fuck they don't. Yes, they do.
And shit, there was I want to say it was last baseball season when like the Tampa Bay Rays did kind of the same thing, and like 5 of their players didn't wear the jersey.
Yeah.
That's their right to do that.
And the funny thing is, I don't remember hearing much about that, but I heard a lot about this.
Yes. This guy, and even the NHL put out a statement. There's like, we can't force him to do this.
Right.
You can't. And then people say, oh, he shouldn't have played that game. Why? Why should they have benched him? Frankly, if they had benched him, then you would have gotten to a real gray area.
Oh, absolutely. No, not even gray. It would have been bad.
Yeah, because now you're talking lawsuits. Mm-hmm. You're talking 100% lawsuits.
Because he didn't want to go along with something that he didn't believe in.
Yes.
You're basically that's holding a player hostage.
Yeah. Like, oh, you have to do this.
You have to do this or
Yeah.
you're not playing. You have to do this or you're not playing.
And
that's not the way it works.
Well, it's in his contract. No, it isn't.
No.
Because this is the NHL literally saying players do not have to support stuff that they don't want to support.
Right.
They don't have to do it. They flat out don't have to. This is the words out of Gary Bettman's mouth.
And that's where the NHL has gotten it right.
Yeah.
You can support whatever you want to, but you can also choose not to support what you don't want to support, which is the way the world fucking works.
But I am going to call out John Tortorella on this one a little bit because he did say, he's like, well, why would I bench him or whatever? But back a few years ago when he was coaching Columbus, he said he would bench or kick a player off his team that kneeled for the anthem.
Which
That's their right, dude.
exactly.
So that's a little bit hypocritical to me. A little bit. He kind of walked those comments back a little bit, basically claiming ignorance.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, whatever, dude. But yes, that is my grind. It's been a while since we've done a grind my gears, and I'm glad we got that out because the more and more I've been hearing about this story, the more and more irritated it's more the hypocritical people about this story that have irritated me about it.
Right. Well, I tell you what, we'll go from that one into this will kind of be a grind my gears as well. Fuck it, why not?
Do it.
Because this one is something that kind of got under my skin.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Tom Brady. And I was one of the biggest Tom Brady fans there was.
Arguably the biggest Tom Brady fan I've ever known.
So when it comes down to it, at this point in time, I have become where I've gotten to the point where I just don't like the guy anymore. He's also like Shannon Sharpe. He's hypocritical. He's a look at me, wait, leave me alone, but no, look at me person. He's literally the type of person that says, I don't want to talk right now. I'm not going to give you a clip. I'm not going to give you a sound clip. I'm not going to give you a sound bite. But by the way, I'm going to be at the shopping center over here shopping at 5 p.m. if you want to come see me. But I'm going to be there. But I'm not going to say anything to you.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing. But by the way, I'm going to be over here in case you want to come and get a picture. Like look at me, but don't look at me and don't say the wrong thing to me. And he has his own podcast.
Does he really?
He has his own podcast.
I didn't know he did.
And it's called Let's Go. Tom Brady, Larry Fitzgerald, and Jim Gray.
Oh, I didn't know that was his podcast. I thought it was just Larry Fitzgerald and Jim Gray.
No, so it's
Okay.
it's his. So he
Yeah.
basically he can tell Jim Gray what to ask him and what not to ask him, right?
Which is ridiculous.
Right. So I mean, Jim Gray is basically like a puppet. So when it comes down to it, he can tell him what not to ask him before the show starts. Like, don't ask me that.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady's been one of the most straight-laced guys you can think of, right? He doesn't really cuss a lot. He has
At least not on camera or anything
not on
like
camera,
that.
but he has shielded what he puts out there to the public, right? Which is one reason why it makes this a little more staged and bullshitty to me.
Right.
So I want you to listen to this, and then I'll get into it. This is what Jim Gray, and this is the interaction between Jim Gray and Tom Brady on the podcast.
Tom, you're leaving everybody guessing. You said you'll take your time. Do you have any type of a timetable as to what you might want to do regarding your football career?
Jim, if I knew what I was going to fucking do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching.
It's only the question
scratchy.
that everybody wants to hear.
You're scratchy. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
That was the most staged bullshit I think I've ever
Yeah,
listened to in my life.
That was pretty bad.
So Tom Brady all of a sudden
That sounds like they went to commercial or something like that, or like did an ad or something like that. It says, "Hey, ask me this, but this is the response I'm going to give."
right. So Tom Brady all of a sudden turns into fucking Rip from Yellowstone, and is like, if I knew what the fuck I was going to do, I'd have fucking done it. Right. Since when is that Tom Brady's personality to do that in an interview ever?
Basically, since he went down to Tampa.
Like, but he hasn't. Like, that's not even him at Tampa. Like, that was staged. Yeah. You have jumped the shark. I'm tired of your shit. Everyone's kind of tired of your shit. You need to just go. Go. I know you want to be in the spotlight. Go somewhere else and be in the spotlight for something else. Just leave football. Be done. I can't tell you how over him I am.
I know people saying like, oh, he's going to go to TV and do Fox, whatever. Frankly, I think he would be horrible in the booth.
Yeah, he would.
I think he'd be absolutely horrendous.
He would probably do. He would have to do a pregame show or something like that. He would not be good in the booth. Honestly, I think he would be worse than Tony Romo, and I fucking hate Tony Romo at this point.
But then you looked at the pregames this week, and honestly, Gronk was fucking awesome doing the pregame show this week on Fox.
Really,
he was awesome. I tweeted it out. I go, if Fox is smart, they'll offer that dude like whatever he wants to join that pregame show because he was fantastic.
See, to me, Gronk just grinds my gears because he's always like that. He's like the frat boy at the party that all of a sudden wandered onto a TV set, and they're like, "Oh shit!"
No, but he was.
Well, fuck it. We'll just go with it.
He was actually good though. Like I was very surprised.
I didn't see it, but anytime I've ever seen him do those,
like, he was like breaking shit down. Like he was actually good.
Really,
I was very surprised by that. But yes, I do agree with what you're saying about like him being like a character.
He really is.
This is why I don't like Will Ferrell. Because I think he's always a character.
So and to me, Gronk is always the party frat boy.
Yeah,
he always puts. That's always what he puts out there.
Right.
I just it gets old.
It does. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. But like I said, watching him on the pregame show this past weekend, I thought he was fantastic. I did because he was actually breaking shit down.
Yeah,
like he wasn't doing the shtick like he does. And I was like, yeah, man, if Fox is smart, because I know Jimmy Johnson only does a handful of shows now because he's old. Like if
they should get rid of TB.
That dude. It's him and Lee Corso. It's just like the same to me. It's like, all right, man. Like you guys have been good for so long, but now it's sad.
It's very, especially for TB. It's sad.
Yeah.
I don't see as much of Lee Corso, but I mean his is sad too. But with TB, man, it's like, how many times are we gonna have to sit here and see Terry Bradshaw say something just fucking asinine, and the entire table look at him like their grandfather who is senile and doesn't know what home he lives in, just wandered into the fucking area with them and said something really stupid, and they just all look at him like, oh God, Grandpa, not again.
Because like the Fox has the Super Bowl this year, right? I think I'm almost positive Fox has the Super Bowl this year. Maybe. I have a feeling like between the conference championship game and sometime next year, he's gonna say something really fucking stupid, and like something that's gonna piss a lot of people off.
Something that's gonna end up getting him fired because I'm surprised some of the things he said already hasn't gotten him fired.
I think he's gonna do it like he's gonna go like straight Don Cherry, and
At this point, he is almost like the old person that you just expect to say weird shit, and you just don't even. You're like, okay,
yeah.
No, that's just
It's
that's grandma being racist again. No big deal. She's grandma. She's 90. She's allowed to be racist.
Sure, grandma. Let's just get you to bed.
Right? Yeah. Okay, grandma. Sure, no problem.
But those two guys. Again, you've been good on TV for so long, but now it's just sad. It is. It's sad.
It's gotten to the point where it's bad, and they need to replace some of these guys.
Yeah,
for sure
they do.
And listen, if it's Gronk and he actually did a good job, if he can drop the whole party boy, frat boy bullshit shtick, then yeah.
Like I don't mind him keeping like a little bit of that, but when it's like over the top, that yes,
because
I agree with
every time I've ever seen him, it's basically like I'm watching Animal House, and he's a character in Animal House, and it's
Pluto.
Right? It's like dude, come on, man, can you? And from certain accounts that I've heard, that's not him.
No.
He's actually very smart.
Yes.
He actually invests well. Like he knows his shit. He's not that party frat boy stupid jock, but yet he plays that at all times. It's like, all right, I'm over it.
And this is the Gronk I saw during the pregame show. It was he still had like a little bit of the humor with it,
Right.
which is fine. I don't have any issue with that,
Right.
Because you look at like a lot of these pregame shows, especially the CBS one. God, how boring it! There's because it's so straight laced.
Yeah,
it's so boring.
they're saltine cracker basically.
Yes, but the Fox one, they actually have a good time, and they joke around and whatever. And Gronk had a little bit of that. He didn't take it over the top like he normally
Right.
does, but he was actually breaking down the game in a way that you could understand what he was saying. You're like, yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And this is where you look at the NHL pregames and intermissions. This is like ESPN's is so straight laced, it's boring, it's blah blah blah. But you look at TNT's, it's fantastic with like Biz and those guys.
Yep.
They do what the NBA on TNT did. That should be the gold standard right there. Is what those guys do.
Yeah.
Like they not only do they break the game down, but they have fun doing it.
Yep.
Like they're not just sitting there in a chair going, just breaking down a game like you're reading off a teleprompter.
That's terrible.
Exactly.
That's terrible.
But they
I'm
have-
only here because y'all paying me.
Right, exactly. They actually have fun doing it. And watching this pregame show this past weekend, I thought he was good, and I honestly I think they should do whatever they can. If it's something that he wants to do on a
Right.
week to week basis, I think you should gauge that interest. And if he says, yeah, I'll do it, I think you should absolutely look into it. But
Yeah.
you know what else is something you should look into?
The Joe Wright Group.
That's right.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 4 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, Shane Wilson, and Alex DeRocher a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs.
There you go. Yes, sir. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done. So we get picks, or you want to break down some of these games, or you want to break these games down?
I think we can break them down when we get into the picks, can't we?
So,
yeah.
yes, sounds like a good idea.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
Yes, it is time for the picks for the NFL Conference Championship weekend. It's kind of bittersweet because it means the season's winding down.
Yes.
You know, there's literally only 3
Yes.
games left in the season, which
You know what's funny is I like hearing you say that you're upset that the NFL season is ending because you didn't used to be that way.
Well,
You've gotten into it. The last few years have been you've gotten more into the NFL, and I like it.
This is more.
I like it.
This is more podcast related than anything because that's a lot of our content is
That's
NFL
true.
related.
That's true. Maybe the podcast has helped you get more into it because that's kind of what drives
I think so.
sports.
Yeah, I
almost,
think so.
you know?
Like especially I think like the betting aspect of it too, since we can actually do that,
Yeah.
legally and whatnot, and from your phone, which is great.
Legally.
I don't know so much about the fantasy aspect, and we'll talk about that at another time. But
yeah. No, fantasy you just got back into this year. I don't think that
did.
was what drove
I have no
it,
idea what place I even finished in. I'm just assuming last, but I haven't even looked.
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, whatever. Anywho, we'll start off with the early game, the 3 o'clock game. The San Francisco 49ers traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. Philadelphia is laying 2.5.
Yeah, so for this one, I kind of started breaking it down earlier. These are two teams that sort of mirror each other. Only one, like you said, one has a better quarterback. San Francisco's 13-4. Philadelphia's 14-3. Both finished first in their respective divisions. Both have very good defenses. If you're looking at the defense as far as rankings go, San Francisco was first, Philly was fourth. But against the pass, Philly was first. And against the rush, they were 16th. San Francisco, kind of a mirror of that. They're second against the rush and 20th against the pass. Both still very good on the defensive side of the ball, creating turnovers and points per game. San Francisco was first with 16.3 points per game. This one comes down to me, it comes down to the offenses being able to do what the defenses don't do well. And if that's Philly passing the ball well on a defense that is not quite as good against the pass, then that's that. I think Philly can win this game then. The key for San Francisco is going to be running the football and establishing that run early, because that's what Philly's not good at. And the minute you can establish that run early and get the run going, you then can do play action, run play action off of that. You can run RPOs, and you can get some action in the passing game, which they are very, very good at.
Yep.
So I'm leaning that I'm going to lean coaching in this one, and I'm going to say that Shanahan outcoaches Sirianni in this one, gets the running game going, is able to use some play action off of that with a third-string quarterback that is just consistent at not turning the ball over and doing what needs to be done. I'm going to go with San Francisco in this one.
I agree with a lot of what you said. I believe whatever team can get somewhat of a run game going, I think that'll definitely play well in their favor. But two things for me in this. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. But two things come down to me. One, I believe the X factor, I think, is the quarterback position. I do. I think Jalen Hurts is just that much better than Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think what the Eagles are going to do is they're going to say, all right, Brock Purdy, beat us. I think they're going to do whatever they can to stop the running game of San Francisco. And they're going to make Brock Purdy beat him. And I don't think he can.
So, and that...
Because Philly's secondary is quite good.
They are, and that's where they're not as good against the run.
Right, but I think that's what they're going to do. I think
they're going to sell out to stop the run.
They're going to stop the run as best they can, and they're going to make Brock Purdy beat them. And this is why I'm taking the Eagles. Not to mention it's a home game. Yeah. I don't see at this point. I don't think it matters. I really don't. But if you want to throw that in, fine. Because obviously all the teams left were good. So home field, you saw what the Bengals did. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, but yeah, I'm taking the Eagles, laying the 2.5. I think this will be a field goal game. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I absolutely think it'll be a high scoring game. You always look at the games at like two good defenses. You're like, oh, maybe 21-17 or something like that. No, I think this one's going to be like 35-31, some 35-30, some shit like that.
See, I'll be honest with you, I don't.
Okay.
I think this one. I look at this one, and I see almost a similar game to Dallas.
Okay.
Like I see a lower scoring defensive game where both teams are trying to feel out what they can do. Both teams are trying to, they have some success, but then they fail a little bit. I think it's going to be a back and forth, lower scoring game in my opinion. That's just the vision I have of this game. But
I'm looking at the total. It's 46.
Yeah. Not high,
but
low. Not low.
Exactly.
But I think that Dallas San Francisco game had a over under of like 47.
Was that right?
So yeah. Yeah, that's just what I envision this game being. I could be completely wrong, but
so could I. I mean, but it's so funny. We always look at games that are like supposed to be shootouts, and those like the low scoring ones. We look at a game like this that both defenses are really good.
Well, speaking of shootouts, that's what I think this next game is going to be.
Oh, Cincinnati case. I want to say yes, and I agree with you. A lot of it obviously depends on what Mahomes does, like how his ankle responds.
Yep.
Those high ankle sprains, man, those just don't go away.
So he's not going to be as mobile, but listen, the Duke can still throw.
Yes.
And they still have weapons on offense. They still have Travis Kelce. And getting into that game, what is the spread in that game?
Cincinnati's laying 1.5.
Okay, so basically that right there tells you that Vegas, and I actually have it at 2 right now. Right. But that actually tells you Vegas is taking into account Mahomes' injury because, listen, the Chiefs are at home in a playoff game.
I would say if Mahomes was healthy, I would say they'd probably be laying, 4, 5?
No, I think it'd be more like that Philly game. I think Kansas City would be giving up 2.5 probably.
Okay.
This will probably be a 4-point swing, 4.5-point swing
right.
if Mahomes is healthy.
Right.
With that being said, this game I think is going to come down to what Mahomes can accomplish with that ankle, with that injury. If he's able to sustain an offense with that injury, I believe Kansas City will pull this game out. But with that being said, I think that injury is going to hamper him, and I think it's going to hamper
I do too.
him more than what Chiefs fans might want to see. I'm going to go with Cincinnati going back to the Super Bowl. I'm going to take Cincinnati winning this game, and I'm going to take them winning it by more than 1.5 points.
Joe, I'm with you on this one. I'm also going to take Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati's defense is – I think they're basically just say, go after him. Mm-hmm. Make him move, make him uncomfortable, go after him. And if he does it, then he does it. Mm-hmm. And like we saw how the Bengals defense played against Buffalo, and I think it's going to be better weather conditions. And this one, I haven't seen the weather report, obviously, but
yeah,
can't be really much worse than what you just played in.
No.
So yeah, the stadium's going to be loud, but again, I don't know how much louder it is than what you just played in Buffalo. The one thing I will say though, if Cincinnati did win this game, it would be what, 4 in a row for Cincinnati?
Yeah.
It's hard to fucking do that. To beat the team 4 times in a row.
It is. And with that being said, Kansas City is a very good team.
They are.
Their yards per game are first in the league.
Yeah.
Passing yards first in the league. Looking at defense, Cincinnati's ranked 12th and Kansas City's ranked 17th. But both teams can get pressure on the quarterback. Their secondaries are not very good, but they tend to get pressure on the quarterback. So this is kind of two teams that actually are mirroring each other almost. Good passing attacks, not quite as good run games.
Right.
But when you look at the defense, they mirror each other as well. Middle of the road, let up a lot of passing yards, not as many rushing yards, but can get pressure on the quarterback. And if you can get pressure on the quarterback, you can still get turnovers, despite the fact that you might give up yards in a passing game.
Right.
If you get pressure on the quarterback, you can get turnovers. So it's gonna be fun to see which team can do that. And we saw in the Buffalo game, Cincinnati was able to do that, and that's how they were able to get to Josh Allen. They were able to wreck some plays up. They were able to get an interception, and just getting in there and tearing up some plays can hinder an offense's momentum.
Yep.
Whether you get a turnover or not, you can get in there and wreck some plays by getting pressures, incomplete passes, sacks. That's a great way to hinder an offense and stop their momentum.
This game, I don't want to say it comes down to one factor for me, but it's a pretty big one, and this is another reason why I'm taking Cincinnati is Joe Mixon. I think he's a big X factor in this game. If he can run even remotely like how he ran against Buffalo, I think Cincinnati. I think it's that 1.5 is easy.
Yeah,
easy money. But again, we'll see how that plays out. But that's kind of my reasoning for taking Cincinnati in this one. So I'm just hoping for a good game. I don't want to see how often do we see like championship games, like conference championship games that are blowouts? Like it's.
I'm trying to think.
I feel like always one of them is a blowout.
Yeah, I'd like to see 2 good games. To be honest with you, I don't know how much of these games I'm going to be able to see. I'm going to be in Florida on vacation.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll have like a restaurant.
I think on Saturday is one of our off days. We're not going to actually be at Disney on one of those days at one of the parks. Saturday and Sunday are both off days for us, so I'll make time to see a little bit of it. I know our hotel has a nice poolside bar.
Oh, nice.
That we could hang out at the pool and things like that. But
yeah, but it's not like
I'll see some of it.
It's not like 40 degrees down there.
No, it's not. It's so yeah, the weather down there is actually looking like it's going to be high 60s. So when we get down there tomorrow, if we get down there tomorrow with the weather the way it is, we're looking at 80-degree weather. Then it's high 60s for 2 days. Then the rest of the whole time we're there is like mid to high 70s and 80s. So no matter what, even in 60s, even if it's 60 on Saturday, I'm going to be fine with that because it's going to seem so much warmer than here. I'll be poolside and watching the bar TV, no problem.
I can't. I'm actually very jealous of that. I have to deal with the bullshit up here.
No problem. Well, like 60 degrees, no problem.
I can live with that.
I'll have on my swim trunks, no shirt, and I'll just be watching that game, no problem. 60-degree weather. Other people in Florida will probably be looking at me like I'm nuts, but I just came from Michigan.
You just came from Michigan,
this is
where
fantastic.
It's like 30 degrees and snowing. 60 degrees should be fine.
Yeah,
should be just
65 and sunny. Yes, I'm in. in. Sign me up.
Yeah, that'll be good stuff
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
guys.
Swim
So,
trunks, dad bod. I'm in. Sign me up.
You got your thong sandals too.
I do have flip flops. Yeah, I do
There
have
you
the
go,
flip flops.
buddy.
Yeah, the flippy floppies. I got my swim trunks and my flippy floppies.
Man. You got it all set. You're going straight dad mode down there.
Oh, absolutely,
Nice.
absolutely.
Thank you for the bottle opener. Needed that. Appreciate it.
I can't do the slides.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like the slides.
I love the slides, man.
Yeah, I
Slides
don't-
are my favorite part of water parks. They're great.
I don't like the slides. I got to do the flip flops.
Oh, you're talking about? I thought you were talking about like the actual slide.
Oh no,
yeah,
no slides.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can do slides.
No, I'll never wear the flip flop ever again.
Really?
Nope.
I
Never
can't.
again.
I can't do the slides.
Unless I'm like after like a sporting event, like a
Yeah.
hockey or something like that, and I'm showering.
Yeah.
But, other than that, never again.
You're a full slide guy.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I had a flip flop blow out in downtown Detroit
Oh.
during going to a Kenny Chesney concert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm done with these.
See, I have slides right now, and I only wear them when I have socks on to like run outside for something
Yeah.
because they kind of dig into my foot. I don't like that. I don't
fair.
like the way it digs into my foot like that.
No, that's fair.
When you go to walk and bend, yeah, just not my thing, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe I need a less firm
No,
slide.
you should believe in slides, man.
It's my right to not like slides.
This is bullshit.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god.
All right, we're gonna get into doing the taste. here.
Yes, we are.
All right, motherfuckers, let's take a timeout and taste this.
This segment is brought to you by Bald Man Entertainment. If you're looking for a DJ for a graduation party, for a wedding, or literally any occasion you're looking for a DJ, Bald Man Entertainment is your way to go. They are your DJ for any occasion.
That is correct. Check those guys out if you need them for any occasion such as that. They'll definitely take care of you.
Yep. My buddy Steve, with the same last name, is the Bald Man in Bald Man Entertainment. He does a great job. I know he DJs the St. Hubert's Festival every year. And if you're a DJ that can DJ a church festival and a graduation party or a wedding, you're a hell of a DJ, because those are two very different genres of music that you have to stick to.
Yes.
He does a great job. Check him out, Bald Man Entertainment.
That is quite impressive. All right, so this week we have from Frankenmuth Brewery. It's called The Hef. It is a Hefeweizen ale, and it is 5.2% alcohol by volume.
Okay. Let's do it.
Now, I have to preface this with saying I'm not a huge fan of Hefeweizens, so we'll see.
I can't remember the last time I had one, truthfully.
Got it. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Wafting.
Wafting. Wafting.
All right.
You ready? Cheers.
Salute. Okay. Okay. I like that.
For not liking Hefeweizens, I don't mind that.
Yeah. And I can't remember the last time I had one, but I never really disliked them. They just weren't my favorite, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't dislike them or like them. This one is, I like this. This is good. I would have that again.
It's not bad.
That's very good.
It's not bad. It's not too heavy. I could, like, if I were to drink it, I could have like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
No, it's not a heavy beer. There's not an overpowering flavor. There's just a little bit of a flavor in there. It's not just a beer, right? It's got a little flavor, but it's not overpowering.
Yeah. I would give it like a 3-4.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I think it needs a little bit more flavor to it.
Yeah,
But I'd go
say
3-4 on
I'd
it.
say that's the only knock I would have on it.
Yep.
And it's not my favorite kind of beer. I'm gonna go 3.8.
Okay.
I would say it was pretty good though. I definitely would have another one of those.
Yeah, it's not bad. I would definitely not say no to this one, like some of the ones we've had.
Yeah, yeah. We had a run of some bad ones.
We did, but we've had a run of some good ones here lately.
Yeah,
so that's
I think this is 3 good ones in a row.
I think it is. Yeah, so we're trending in the right direction in that regard.
Yeah. So I did want to update the playoff records for you, me, and Eric.
Yeah.
I am 5-4-1 in the playoffs. You are 6-3-1.
Yeah, baby.
And Eric is 7-2-1.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Well, good job, Eric. Good
Yeah.
boy.
I'm going to have to get his picks after the show today.
Yes.
If you want to send those, don't forget to send those off, and I'll add them in.
What did you picked? San Francisco and
I took
Cincinnati?
San Fran and Cincinnati.
Yes. Okay.
And then I will get Eric's after the show.
Okay.
But yeah, right now he's beating he's winning. He's beating both of us in the playoffs. Not a very good record in the regular season, but when it comes to playoff time, dude's money.
Hey man, that's where you make your money, dude.
Yeah.
Attaboy. Nicely done.
But all right, anything else?
No, I think it was. We got to everything that we needed to get to.
Yeah, and once again, we will not have a show next week.
No.
I will still be on vacation, and but when we come back the week after that, it will be the week of the Super Bowl. So we will get into breaking down the Super Bowl and what happened in the conference championship games in that show when we get back.
Yes.
Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider. Check out SOTDET.com. Click on the blogs. We'll have fantasy stuff there next year again. We've got our picks on there. And we also have a shop. You can click on shop and buy some stuff.
Buy stuff,
and it helps support us. It has the Sports on Tap Detroit logo on it. And check it out. There's a lot of cool stuff there. SOTDET.com. Click on shop. On behalf of Chris, I am Joe. We are Sports on Tap Detroit. See you in 2 Tuesdays.
And that is it for us today.
No! God, please, no!
Bye. Have a great time.
No! God!
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no.
Bye, buddy.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
Goodbye.
No!
It's never goodbye.
Hey,
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
And you were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I have ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys. Mamba out.